Hello and welcome to Raw Chatter. I am your host, Vicky Midwood, and I am solo today. I've done a couple of episodes, quite long ones, over the last couple of weeks. So I thought I would keep this one short and to the point. And then if you do have a little bit more time allocated, maybe you want to go back and listen to some of the older podcasts that I have done. So today I wanted to talk about complacency versus commitment. So I was at an event on Sunday, a fabulous event aimed at the older woman who has decided that now it is my turn. It is my turn to do what I want to do in life. And if you are a lady over a certain age and you're kind of in that sort of middle of the sandwich, if you like, where you're perhaps looking after older parents still and you've got young adults, and there's you in the middle, but you're ready to say, hey, do you know what? I've given over here and I've given over here, and now it's time to give to myself. That's what the event was about. It was about women deciding to do what they wanted to do. It's their turn in life. Whether that's running a business, whether it's changing career, whether it's pursuing something that you love and that you've always wanted to pursue, but you've never done it, whatever it happens to be. And what I recognized was that there is very much kind of two camps. There's those people who feel passionate about what they're wanting and have got some clarity. And therefore, it's much easier for those types of people to be committed to taking the steps to getting what they want. And then there are other people who are very unsure about what it is that they do truly want. And therefore, complacency sets in along with negativity. And complacency and negativity don't always go together, but often they do. And when we have got somebody who believes that they're not going to be able to do something, it's much easier to not even try. And you may be thinking, well, that's sad and I'd never do that. But a lot of us do it and we don't realize that we're doing it because we've all got internal biases and we've all got beliefs and values that we unconsciously don't know we're having, right? But they are running the show. So if you've got a little nagging voice in your head that says to you, yeah, right, when you set yourself a goal, then you need to take notice because it's probably telling you something about yourself that maybe you need to own, face up to, acknowledge, maybe all three. And what I often find is for those people who sit in a space of complacency, it's because they just don't have a powerful enough desire, a powerful enough reason, or a big enough why, if you like, as to what is it that they want to make some changes for? What do they want to achieve? Who do they want to be? What do they want to have? What do they want to do? And a lot of the time, we're complacent because we think it's going to be too much work, too much effort, that we don't have the skill set. It's going to take us a long time. And there's the potential fear, and this is your unconscious bias, that it might not work. You might fail. And so to keep ourselves safe, we'd rather stick with what we're doing and what we know. Complacency comes in when that powerful desire is not regularly watered. What do I mean by that? You've all done this, I'm sure, where you've been really enthusiastic. Maybe it's about an upcoming holiday or about an event or something like that. And when you first book it, you get really, really excited. But when it's a while away, you kind of lose that initial enthusiasm and excitement. And as it gets closer to the time, depending on what the thing is, that excitement may turn into, oh, I don't know if I've made the right decision. I don't know whether I should be going. I don't even think it's the right time now for me. And all of a sudden, that powerful drive, the thing that made you say yes to whatever it is or sign up, suddenly that's completely changed. So why does that happen? Was because we're not watering our goals. We're not keeping the desire alive. And usually that's because we're seeing this big thing over here, which seems unobtainable, but we haven't planned out the tiny, minute little steps that need to keep us enthused and keep that desire ignited on a daily basis. And that's when complacency steps in, because nobody sets out to be complacent. But what we do without realizing it is allow our old behaviors and our old familiar patterns that your brain very handily remembers and kicks in when you're not conscious. We end up doing the same stuff over and over again. Let me give you an example. If you say you are committed to a goal of being able to lift a certain amount of weight in the gym, let's take that as an example because it's quantifiable. You can see what you're actually putting on your bar. Let's say we're talking about a deadlift. And for those of you who don't know what a deadlifting is in the gym, it's where you have a big bar and you put some weighted plates on the end and you pick it up from the floor. And you're using your big butt muscles, you're using your back muscles, and you're using your tummy muscles. And if all of us should ideally be able to lift our own body weight. Why? Well, because if you did, heaven forbid, fall over, collapse on the floor, and there was nobody around to help you, you want to know that you can get up. Conversely, if somebody should fall around you, you want to know that you can pick them up, that you're not going to leave them stranded on the floor because you don't have the strength to be able to help them, lift them up, drag them out of the way, whatever needs to happen. So as women particularly, we shy away, and I'm going off on a tangent. And for those of you who know, I often do this. But for women, we should be lifting weights, right? Especially if you're an older lady. And when I'm saying older, over 45, 50, if you haven't already started in your 20s, it is never too late to start picking up weights, folks, because it's so important from a bone density point of view, from a ligament and tendon point of view, from keeping your musculature working well, from a metabolism point of view. And as I say, being able to lift your own self off the floor or be able to lift somebody else off the floor is so, so important if we want to have decent quality of life when we're older. I don't know about you, but I have every intention of always being able to pick up my suitcase from the carousel in the airport, and if there's no trolley, carrying it through customs and outside without an issue, right? I'm old school. Back in the day, suitcases didn't used to have wheels. If you're a younger person, I know, right? But it's true. We used to have to just carry them. And that's what we did. But nowadays, we've got so many things to help us that we're not lifting like we used to on a daily basis. Even shopping, you know, we carry bags and walk home from the shops. No, we stick it in a taxi these days, or we get it delivered. So we're missing so many opportunities of being able to lift stuff. But I'm going back to my example. So let's just say you set a goal of being able to lift your own body weight on a bar, right? And if you're quite heavy, you wouldn't set that initially. But let's just take something like, let's go with 60 kilos as an example. You need to make sure that you know, why do you want to do that? Now, I've just given you some reasons, but they may not land with you. Why do you want to be able to lift that weight? Because you need to know why. What's it going to allow you to do that you can't do now, right? And how will it make you feel when you achieve that? So we need to have those things as our powerful driver. But then you need to go, okay, so what steps do I need to take every single day that is going to get me clearer and nearer to that goal? And it's not always going to be lifting weights. It's going to be other things that will help you. So things like working on your grip strength, because lifting that amount of weight is very much determined on your ability to grip and hold it, right? You need to think about what is the flexibility like around your backs of legs, around your back area. You've got to think about, okay, so if those areas aren't very strong, what things can I do on a daily basis that are going to help me to strengthen them? I know I'm going to set aside X amount of minutes, and I'm talking maybe 2 or 5 minutes a day, to work on going upstairs in 2s, or to do some lunges, right? And a minute on one leg and a minute on the other. And believe me, if you can do a minute lunges on one leg, you're doing well, right? Chances are, if you're starting out, after 10 seconds or 20 seconds, you might have had enough. And that's fine, because you're going to be committed to your goal. And you've got very, very clear steps of what you're going to do every single day. When we haven't got very, very clear steps, that's when we become complacent. We might have a plan that says go to the gym 3 times a week, right? But if you haven't said what specific days you're going and at what time, then the chances are you're probably going to go, I don't feel like it today, I'll leave it till tomorrow. And then the next time, it's so much easier to not go because you didn't go the first time. And this is how complacency sets in, because it's so easy to do something, but it's also so easy to not do something. So I want to leave you with the question, where am I being complacent in my life when I actually want to be committed? And then what do I need to do to help myself bridge that gap from complacency to commitment? And then I want you to commit to doing it. And I would love you to share with me what you have decided you are going to do. And it doesn't have to be a specific goal in terms of lifting weights or anything like that. It could be something that you really, really are passionate about and want to do, but you've never made it priority. And if you can really delve deep into why do you want to do it? What is it that excites you? What will it give you when you have achieved that? That's when you can commit to it. That's when you can create the simple steps, and they need to be daily steps that you're going to do. And that's when you can start to feed that desire on a daily basis. And how do we keep that desire going? I'm going to leave you with this. Every single day, you set yourself one thing, a small thing that is definitely doable. And when you have done it, the key is to say, well done, me. Ideally, say your name. So I would say, well done, Vicky. You said you were going to do it and you did it. The biggest thing that keeps us stuck in complacency is when we say we're going to do something and then we don't do it. That's when you don't trust yourself. That's when it's far too easy to not do something the next day and the next day, because it tells you who you are. You are a person who doesn't do what you say you're going to do. And oftentimes we are that person, not because we didn't want to do it, but it's usually because we set ourselves way too big a challenge. When you make it tiny, when you make it doable, when it's one thing, not 3, not 5, not 7 things that will get you closer to that goal, and you do it, and you feel that you are now getting closer, it's a self-perpetuating drive, but you've got to be committed and not complacent. So share with me what you choose. I'd love to know your feedback and your comments. And most of all, why not get in touch with me on social media, and then I can help to keep you accountable, because one way of helping us to stay committed is to be accountable to somebody else. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. It has been short and sweet, and I will see you very soon on the next one. Thanks for listening. Take care.